Hi, it's Kari Mathews of Prairie Quilting. Today we're working on my quilt, Grandma's Sewing Basket. The pattern is available through my website, prairiequilting.com. And today we're going to be working on the corner blocks and the spool blocks. Okay, let's get started. I have laid out our corner blocks. Each of these are in rows here. And if you can see how they go together, this is all in the pattern with the diagrams and everything. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to match it up. So I'm going to sew on this side, okay? And I've lined my corners up. That's where I'm sewing from. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that for all of these, okay? Okay, and I'm just kind of giving them a finger press. Now let's connect up the other side, okay? And we're gonna also go from the corner, okay? So get all these ready. Okay, so now we have only 4 because the green does not need another one, okay? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go toward those brown triangles on all of these. Okay, so I'm clipping all those corners. Get rid of that bulk that we don't need. Okay, so we're making this center strip here. Connect these up. I like to lay those out because, to make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, I'm nesting those seams, and then we're going to connect the next 2. Okay. Last row here, and you see where it makes a V here? If you can see that, that's where your needle fits, is right there at the point. And then it comes out at this other point here. Okay, so now we're going to sew these 2 sections together. We'll put our pin in there, nest those 2 seams. And we only have this little green section to add at the bottom, so we're just going to go ahead, match this up, okay? Okay, before I go ahead and press, I'm going to clip the corners off, okay? Sometimes it's just easier to do it before. Okay, so I'm going to do something that's kind of different. I'm going to press down. I'm going to smash my seams partway through. Okay, so I'm kind of going the way the fabric wants to go, okay? So do you see it's like both ends want to lay flat? So I'm just going with that because I'm going to quilt this. So nobody's going to know except for me and now all of you. Okay, so now we have our sections for the block. So I'm going to just go ahead and sew these 2 together first. So we'll line this strip we just pieced up in the center of that brown piece. And there's a bunch of bias edges, so I'm trying not to pull on anything, okay? All right, last seam for this block. It's also a diagonal seam, okay? And we're gonna line this all up here. Okay, we're just gonna kind of put a pin in the center there. And once again, we've got bias edges, so just be ginger with it. All right, and we are definitely going away from that strip that has all that bulk in it. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and trim off those excess corners. And there's our corner block. We are gonna be making half square triangle units for our spool block. Okay, so I'm matching up the cream background with that dark brown, okay? They're like those old-fashioned spools. All right. My grandma had a big bin of buttons, and I got her button collection when she kind of downsized, so that was fun. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pen back down the other side. So I'm gonna cut on the line. You could do it with the scissors or your rotary cutter. I just put a new blade in, so I'm using my rotary cutter. We're gonna press toward the brown, and I'm just gonna go ahead, give it a top press and peel it back. All right, let's trim off all those corners. I've gone ahead and laid this block out, and we have an end patch, okay? So let's go ahead and just match up our squares into rows here. Okay, so I have not pressed these. I've just kind of pushed them, you know, finger pressed a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and put the other side onto the row, okay? I like to just finish my rows before I press. Okay, for the top and the bottom, I'm going to go toward the brown here. There's a lot less bulk that way, and it's the darker color. So that works out good. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and go out toward the cream on this one so that our seams will nest. Okay, so now we have our rows. So now we're gonna just go ahead and connect our rows. We'll nest our seams. Okay. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and now pin the last row on. All right. All right, and we're gonna press toward the center, away from all those half square triangles. Okay, and there's our spool block. All right, our blocks are finished. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you soon for another project. Take care.